evening and welcome to the Manatee Chamber of Commerce's 58th annual dinner and the 4th annual Robert P. Bartz Award celebration. Please give yourself a round of applause for getting here in this weather tonight. We are looking forward to a fantastic evening celebrating the legacy of leadership of the business community here in Manatee County. And as we kick off our festivities, I would ask that you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Please be seated. Good evening, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to welcome you to the Chamber's annual dinner. My name is Jackie Delzelski, and I am the President and CEO of your Chamber of Commerce. And what a celebration we have tonight. You all have braved extreme weather. It hasn't rained in 4 weeks, but it decided to rain at 4:45 tonight. So I know many of you exercised extreme patience and caution in joining us, and thank you for the time you spent in your car. I heard some of you were in the parking lot for about an hour to try to get in. So we appreciate delaying the start just a little bit. I promise you we will make up time this evening as well. So let me start off, please, by thanking all of the sponsors, the companies that made this event our first major in-person indoor event really in 15 months possible. Our presenting sponsor, the Bradenton Herald. Many of you who have attended our annual dinner know that the Bradenton Herald has been a longtime partner in the Chamber's annual dinner. Tomorrow, they will print a special two-piece section of the newspaper. You have a copy as a sneak peek at your seats, so you are in the know. Mark Masfer and the Bradenton Herald team, thank you for your support of the Chamber's annual dinner. Our corporate sponsors, Florida Power and Light, the Mosaic Company, and the Realtors Association of Sarasota and Manatee, thank you. Extraordinarily, yes please, extraordinarily popular tonight, our valet parking sponsor. I'm not sure Bob Boast Volkswagen could have planned it any better, but thank you so much to the Boast team for allowing us to have valet parking with SRQ Valet tonight. We have a number of event sponsors. You will see their logos up on the screen as well as in your printed program. They, again, have made an event of this scale and scope possible this evening. Please share your thanks with them as you walk around and notice people's name tags and their tables as well. And also a big thank you to Pier 22, Greg Campbell and his team. You are in for a treat with dinner. I know that they will take great care of us this evening, so thank you to all of those sponsors. We rarely miss an opportunity to recognize the Chairman's Circle members of the Chamber. These are organizations that make a significant additional investment in the Chamber beyond their membership dues. You will see several slides as I go through recognitions for the Chairman's Circle. We will start with our Platinum members. Thank you so much to Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. I know Millard Martin and the CRI team are here. Thank you for your Platinum level investment in the Manatee Chamber. Manatee County Government, we have Dr. Scott Hopes and several Manatee County Commissioners here. Thank you so much for the incredible partnership that the business community through the Chamber has with our county. Manatee Memorial Hospital, we have Kevin DeLallo and the MMH team here as well, longtime Platinum investors in the Chamber. MCR Health and All Care Options, Patrick Carnegie, Dr. Bill Colgate on our board, thank you for your investment. The Mosaic Company, I know Jackie Barron is here with the Mosaic team. NDC Construction, we have Ron Allen and Jason Bartz and the NDC team here as well, great friends and investors in the Chamber through our Platinum level. The Pittsburgh Pirates and Bradenton Marauders, thank you so much, Jeff Podobnik, and to the Pirates and Marauders team for their long-term support. Raymond James, Wealth Management, Bruce Body. I know Bruce is here with a number of his team members from Raymond James. Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, Rick Piccolo and his team are here. What incredible headlines coming out of our airport, a record-setting year. Such an important signal of where our economy is headed, the airport, Port Manatee, and many other indicators. And South State Bank, perhaps a new name, but not a new organization, formerly Center State Bank. The South State Bank team is here. Thank you so much to Brian Hall and Chris Perkins and the South State team for their platinum level investment in the chamber. We also have a number of companies that invest in the gold, silver, and bronze levels, and you will see their names not only on the screen, but also in your program. I appreciate all of the investment. It's this type of support of the Chamber's mission that allows us not to just do what we've always done for more than 131 years as the Chamber, but allows us to consider new programming as well as a new expansion of our program of work. And as we like to say, if not the Manatee Chamber, then who? Who would be doing the work on transportation and infrastructure and healthcare and education and workforce development? And it's the support of our members that make that possible. I have a couple of reminders for you as we get ready to break for dinner. That is, the silent auction is open probably maybe a little bit past 8, but technically 8 o'clock unless they tell me to come back after dinner and tell you a little bit of an extension. But we have 79 packages, all donated by very generous chamber member organizations. So bid early, bid often. There is an amazing array for the sports fans, for him and for her, for people that apparently like to drink a bit, because I think there's 5 or 6 wine packages back there. There's televisions, technology. I mean, you all have been so generous. Monster Jam, Disney on Ice, thanks to our friends from Feld Entertainment, some fabulous packages. And of course, our raffle prize as well. If you haven't bought raffle tickets yet, Chamber staff will be around during the dinner break to sell those to you for our amazing 5-night stay at a beautiful cabin in Georgia, donated by Formella Construction. I would like to take a moment to recognize the elected officials who have joined us this evening. We are so appreciative that you have made the Chamber's annual dinner a priority. Hold your applause until the end, and I hope I don't miss anyone. I was trying to catch anybody that came in that maybe we didn't have on the list, but we'll start off with Florida House of Representatives member Will Robinson, Florida House of Representative member Tommy Gregory, Manatee County Commissioners Reggie Bellamy, George Cruz, Misty Servia, Kevin Van Ostenbridge, and Carol Whitmore. City of Palmetto Mayor Shirley Groover Bryant. City of Bradenton Mayor Jean Brown. City of Bradenton Vice Mayor and Councilwoman Mary Ann Barnaby. City of Bradenton Councilwoman Jane Coker. City of Bradenton Councilman Bill Sanders, Judge Gilbert Smith, Clerk of the Circuit Court Angel Colanesso, and Manatee County Supervisor of Elections Senator Mike Bennett. Thank you so much for making it a priority to be with our chamber tonight. You know, following more than 15 months, a period of time which for many of us no decision felt easy, I would say that the work of the Manatee Chamber of Commerce has never felt more important. You'll hear a theme throughout the evening from all of the speakers about the importance that you all play in the work of this organization. Many of you know that the Chamber traces its roots back to 1889 and the founding of the Bradenton Board of Trade, and it's somewhat remarkable that the mission of the Chamber today so closely aligns with the mission of the Bradenton Board of Trade when businessmen and women in the late 1800s came together to support our local economy and ensure that our community was prepared for a fabulous quality of life moving forward. Those priorities are the same today. You may have seen in the Tampa Bay Business Journal just a few weeks ago, your Manatee Chamber of Commerce once again was ranked as the largest, the #1 chamber by size in the greater Tampa Bay area, so thank you all. I think it is tremendous that Manatee County and our greater Manatee County region have the strongest and largest chamber. It is because of all of your work, and I hope that you feel ownership over the priorities and the accomplishments that you hear more about this evening. In preparing for tonight, I was reviewing the script and some of the comments that I shared with you from last year, and I found a direct quote from my remarks last year, and I find it somewhat telling, knowing that our annual dinner last year was when it typically is held, which is in January, so it was pre-pandemic, and here was a direct quote from some thoughts I shared with you last year. I said, while some may argue that in a globally connected world, online is replacing in-person, I instead would argue that personal connections are becoming even more valuable. Look around this room. The Manatee Chamber isn't just business. The Manatee Chamber is personal. So that was a direct quote from last year, and little did I know at the time that 2 months later, our community would be facing the full brunt of a pandemic. And there is no argument that technology has helped bridge the gap and move business forward in ways we never would have imagined. And business will continue to use technology to adapt. But the crowd tonight proves that personal connections are more important than ever. And I so appreciate the commitment that you all made to be here at this event and to be here with the Chamber in person. Together, we work so hard to support local businesses, to grow our economy, and to create the very best possible quality of life that we can because it matters to us. We don't just live here, we operate businesses here, we raise our children here, and we care about this community. One recognition I would also like to share with you and ask for your help in celebrating is a recognition of the Chamber staff. You'll see a photo up on the screen. If you could give a round of applause and help us thank the Manatee Chamber of Commerce staff. They are true professionals who responded, as did your teams, in remarkable ways over the past year to deal with new challenges, to think of new ways to deliver value to you and your companies and your coworkers. And I could not be more proud of our team that we have at the Manatee Chamber. And that partnership extends to each of your businesses as well. It has been such a privilege to work with you, to work with businesses who were never connected to the Manatee Chamber prior to the last 15 months, to partner with our governmental agencies in ways that benefited not just businesses but residents as well, and with the many nonprofits across our region who were asked to do more with less as we've all faced challenges. Our commitment was to be a trusted source of information and to connect business people to resources that we wanted to bring to our community. Very quickly, just since last March, we've hosted 42 online webinars, 68 online networking events, and add to that 89 virtual board meetings, committee meetings, council meetings, and task force meetings. So I'm wondering how much of a responsibility the Chamber has in this Zoom fatigue that we're all talking about when you look at the number of virtual offerings that we have presented to you all. But it certainly allowed us to stay connected and to continue to move forward. We stood up new websites as well as social media campaigns, all geared towards supporting your business and our community. And we didn't stop our normal program of work either, whether it was education and workforce initiatives or opportunities for us to become a backbone organization for Reach Manatee. You'll hear more about the local college access network and the opportunity for your business to ensure that we are constantly striving for a higher level of post-secondary attainment for our community and our residents. And guiding all of this work is the Chamber's mission, which is to build a positive business environment while enhancing our community's quality of life. There is so much more to come. There is so much more for us each to be a part of, to add to the legacy of leadership of this great community. You all know that the pinnacle of tonight's event is the presentation of the Bartz Award. I hope that each of you will take a moment to read about Bob Bartz. It's on page 18 in your printed program. His influence is still felt by all of us, and those of us who were lucky enough to work with him are so proud that we continue to honor his legacy with the Bartz Award. I want to recognize Vicki Bartz, Jason Bartz, Ernie Withers, Bob Turner, Marie Pender, and Neil Spiritus. They were charged with the very difficult task of wading through all of the nominations that came in this year for the Bartz Award and honoring John and Amanda, who you will hear from after dinner tonight. Thank you so much for that very heavy lift in choosing a Bartz Award winner. I would now like to transition us into dinner, and so I will ask that Mayor Shirley Groover-Bryant, Mayor of the City of Palmetto, join me on stage. She is a dear friend of our 2020 Chairman of the Board, Ernie Withers, and she will share a blessing with us before our meal.
Please join with me. Heavenly Father, we give thanks that we can be together tonight. The Chamber has many accomplishments to celebrate and business community leaders that have stepped forward as examples of true selfless servants above and beyond in service to our community, for which we give thanks. As we gather to recognize the achievements of and honor our outgoing chairman, we give thanks for the leadership he has provided to the Chamber and the community. We pray many blessings upon him. As we welcome our incoming chair, we pray for him and remain mindful to keep him in prayer as he undertakes the exciting challenges ahead. We pray for the family of former Mayor of Palmetto and State Legislator J.J. Toby Holland, who passed away this week. As always, we pray for our protectors, our first responders, and all of our caregivers, both at home and abroad. We ask that all our leaders nationwide are granted the strength and the wisdom daily to choose the course forward that is favorable in your sight. In your heavenly name, we pray. Amen. Thank you.
We will now allow the great team from Pier 22 to serve you your dinner, and I will make a note about your dessert, sponsored by the Bank of Tampa. There are a variety of flavors, so you guys can trade amongst yourselves. Don't ask us to intervene. They're nicely packaged to be able to take home as well. Can I please ask for your show of appreciation? Pier 22 just served 630 attendees in 17 minutes. Thank you so much to Greg Campbell and his team for the fabulous dinner. The silent auction will be open for about another 15 minutes, so those of you that were staking out and stocking your items, you've got 15 minutes for the silent auction. I now have the distinct honor of introducing you to our 2020 Chairman of the Board, Ernie Withers with Mercedes-Benz of Sarasota. Ernie is making his way up. Ernie has had an incredible history of involvement and leadership with our chamber that spans more than 30 years of involvement with the Manatee Chamber of Commerce. He has served in every role on our executive committee and chaired our board during a year unlike any other. But amidst all of the challenges that Ernie oversaw as chairman of the board, leading our staff and our board and our committees, he continually asked, "How can I help and what can I do to support others?" I can't tell you how many times my phone rang and Ernie was simply calling me to say, "Jackie, what do you need? What does your team need? And what can I do to help and support you?" Ernie has a very special honor coming up in September. If you didn't see the news, he will be inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Ernie. And anyone that knows him knows that his family is at the center and the heart of all that he does, which is evidenced by the large crew that he has with him here tonight. He's been an incredible leader, supporter, and friend. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2020 Chairman of the Board, outgoing Chairman, Ernie Withers.
So Jackie was laughing at me when she saw my notes, So they're a little scribbled, so thank you, Jackie. So good evening. Thank you so much for the honor of taking the stage tonight as your immediate past chairman and allowing me to do that. First, I have the pleasure of introducing other past chairmen of the boards who are with us tonight. Now, I have an even stronger appreciation for the leadership of these men and women have given to the Chamber. Their commitment has benefited all of our businesses over many years. I ask that these past chairmen please stand, that you save your applause until I finish the list. And it's a long list because we have a lot of people here tonight, which is incredibly gratifying. These leaders are a huge part of the legacy of the Manatee Chamber, and it speaks volumes that they're here tonight to support our work. We'd like to first recognize, if you would stand as we call your name, Mike Carter, 1990. Cliff Walters, 1991. My good friend Bob Turner, 1994. Mr. Ron Allen, 1996. Carolyn Keller, 2002. Bob Beck, 2003. My Super Bowl buddy, Rich Piero, 2005. Mr. John Rice, 2008. Mr. Mac Carraway, 2009. Chris Pennywell, 2010. Jim Vett, 2011. One of our honorees tonight, Mr. John Horn, 2012. And you have to know that he got his picture taken with those shorts. It wasn't a picture of his face, it was just a picture of his shorts. Mr. Tom Sequin, 2013. Miss Ray Dowling, 2014. Jonathan Fleece, 2015. And thank you, Kevin DeLallo, for making the trip over from the East Coast, 2017. Darcy Duncan, 2018. Mr. Bill Polton, 2019. Please give these fine men and women a great round of applause. Thank you all. To say that my year as the chairman of the board came with some unexpected challenges is definitely an understatement, but it also came with incredible opportunities. It was such an honor, and while my year has been different, it was so rewarding. Jackie shared with you a few of the accomplishments of the past year, but that does not begin to scratch the surface in telling the story of what the Chamber does for all of our businesses. Before I highlight more about the Chamber's work in 2020, please allow me to recognize the 4 board members who completed their board service at the end of 2020. I ask that they stand so our Chamber staff can deliver a special gift to them in appreciation. First off, we'd like to recognize Bill Polton, Tropicana Products, and our 2019 Chairman of the Board. Please give him a big round of applause. Mr. Kevin Baylor, Alliance IT. Thank you, Kevin. Mr. Kerry Ward, Bank of OZK. Where are you, Kerry? Did I say that right? There you go. Dustin Fasullo, Train, our past chair of Manatee Young Professionals. And let me do a little sidebar here, go off script here. It was very nice. I saw a young man walking around introducing himself. He's a new member of the Manatee Young Professionals, and he wanted to know what I did with the Chamber and who was I. And he was going around from table to table. His name is Mitch. He comes from Chicago, been here for 3 years. That's what the Chamber does for you and your businesses, to be able to network. And that's why I'm a part of the Chamber. And it was nice to see a young man like him doing the same thing and getting to know everybody. So, Mitch, wherever you are out there, big round of applause to you. Thank you. As I think back on last year, one of the things that makes me most proud of your Chamber took on a critical role serving as a navigator for the county's CARES Act grant program. We're a point of contact for small business grants and housing assistance programs that made more than $70 million in federal assistance available to our community. I need to recognize the Manatee government team, too, for their tremendous efforts and success in quickly creating a system to get these dollars out to businesses and residents in need. It was an undertaking to create a very short period of time. Through our navigator role, Chamber staff answered more than 1,000 phone calls and emails to help people access these grants. The Chamber staff's willingness and ability to step into this role was amazing. I look around the convention center tonight, and I know that each of you is faced with difficult decisions within your company. The Chamber's network helps so many business owners access information, connect with expert advice, and cut through the huge amount of communication thrown at them. Very early on, the Chamber created a new website called Recover Manatee that served as a clearinghouse for information about the guidelines and resources for businesses and residents. Thousands of businesses use this website to access up-to-date, accurate information. The Chamber also launched a new Facebook group called Manatee Strong. It quickly grew to an online network of over 7,000 Facebook users. The goal was to share information about the many good things happening in our community, the examples of how people were helping one another. It also offered a platform of businesses to promote special offers. We're so proud of the hashtag Manatee Strong. Started circulating on social media as a way to share positive stories and useful information. Like your businesses and mine, the Chamber adapted to new things to find new formats for the important work that we'd be doing in a typical year. We immediately stood up the virtual opportunities for networking and had a great response from our membership. We even hosted a job shadow fair with USF students virtually since we could not be in person at the time. As we approached the fall of last year with careful consideration, we moved back to in-person officing with good protocols. Our Chamber Expo at Lincoln Park with the Pirates and the Marauders was our first large-scale event in person, and it was a huge success. Thank you, Jeff Panobik and the Pirates and the Marauders. While a few decisions felt easy, your Chamber Board of Directors, Chamber committees, and staff worked so hard to ensure that we continued to deliver incredible value to our members and community. Through all of this, so many of you shared your feedback and support, and you made our Chamber much stronger. Please give yourself a big round of applause. In closing, I'd like to recognize my mother. Sue Linebaugh, she just turned 91 in April. And along with my two brothers, Floyd and Jim, and my sisters, Mary Ann and Cindy, were with us tonight, and they're sitting at this table right over here. They're with their significant others, Sandra Cotcliffe and Dana Summers. I really appreciate you guys being here tonight and making this a special evening for me. My children are here tonight, Charlie and Kelly, and their kids, Caden, Jackson, and Brody. My daughter, Rachel and Josh May, and their kids, Marianne and Everly. And my daughter, Lisa and Eric, they are out at a baseball event in Orlando, and they were not able to be here tonight with my kids. Also sitting at my tables, I have my guest, Mayor Shirley Bryant. She's soon to be related to our family through marriage, so it's nice to have you part of the family, Shirley. Bob and Dottie Turner, who are our dear friends, and they're our fellow USF Bull tailgaters. They're sitting our guests, go Bulls. Our Bulls game, man, what a great event we had. Our Bulls. I know we're not, not Clemson Tigers, but we're the Bulls, right? We got one of their coaches. I mean, come on. So we're working. But one of my fondest memories of Bob Bartz was with Bob and Vicky and Bob and Dottie and Teresa and Bob Richardson and Byron and Jody and so many of us being up in the Mercedes-Benz Hall of Fame club cheering on our Bulls. So I know John didn't have those kind of seats, so we were lucky. But they are both our cherished blessings. My last guest at our table is a good friend of mine. I like to call him my younger brother that I never had, Coach Andy Guglielmini and his wife Lisa Guglielmini. A lot of you guys know Coach Goog, right? He's a graduate of Manatee High School. Saw him wrestle in high school. He officiated high school football with me as a long wrestling official, and he's been a long-time coach at Manatee High School. He was instrumental in nominating me for the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, and I appreciate that, Andy, and thank you for being here tonight. So if the four tables of my family, if you could stand and be recognized, I'd really appreciate it. And if you give them a big round of applause, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So without a good leader, you need someone to back you up. And the backup is you all know where Cindy lives. So Cindy and I, we met at USF in 1974. We were both transfer students from junior colleges, myself from Miami-Dade Community College, North Campus, and Cindy was from Manatee Junior College, now the State College of Florida, and we were in orientation. There you go. We were orientation students. We were both W's, and we went around the room, and they asked what your major was, and they asked Cindy. She said that she was an art education major, and they got to me. They said, "What's your major?" I says, "I'm majoring in criminal justice," and she went, "Ooh." So she had me at ooh. So, so we've been married 45 years. In August, we'll be married 45 years. She's a graduate of Southeast High School. Her mother is a graduate at Manatee High School. Her sister graduated at Bayshore High School. My son-in-law graduated from Palmetto High School. My granddaughter goes to Braden River High School. My other granddaughter and grandson go to Parish Community High School. Got to get that right. So we've hit all the high schools in the area. So Cynthia, we got a good educational system, so we're all good. So I appreciate all of that. So Cindy, thank you again for all you do. I really appreciate it. Without your support, I wouldn't be in the position I am, and I'm so blessed and thankful to be married to you. Thank you. I'd like to thank my work family. As a lot of you know, I worked for Bill Graham Ford before it became AutoNation Ford. I was there for 26 years. We're part of the AutoNation's family. I've been with AutoNation now since they purchased Bill Graham Ford for 40 years. I'm currently the general manager at Mercedes-Benz of Sarasota. I want to thank all of my work employees and work families for supporting me and allowing me to be able to make the meetings, and you stepping in for me while I was not able to be there at work. I'd like to take the time to thank the chamber team, Jackie, Kim, Amy, Carrie, Kaylee, Cheryl, Tim and Tim, Michelle, Carol, Kara. I know I missed somebody, but I want to thank all the chamber team for all the support that you guys have done. You've done a remarkable job, and please give the chamber and Jackie and her staff a big round of applause. Thank you. As one of my last official duties, I want to share my appreciation for the incredible work and efforts of our healthcare community. The Chamber participated in more than 100 calls, meetings, and email updates over the past 15 months with our county's health department, hospitals, emergency response personnel, physician networks, nonprofits, and others who were on the front lines of providing care. I have a special opportunity to honor one leader with a Chairman's Award. I asked that Dr. Jennifer Binsey, Administrator of the Florida Department of Health in Manatee County, come forward to receive this recognition. Jackie will meet you in the front of the stage. Dr. Binsey and her team have done incredible work in helping our community face and overcome many challenges of the pandemic. Early on, I believe she and her team were truly working 24 hours a day to help our community learn, respond, and adapt. Dr. Binsey reached out to the Chamber early on so that we could be an effective partner to reach businesses and their employees and important information and resources. Thank you, Dr. Binsey, for your leadership and tireless efforts on behalf of our community. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As she makes her way back to her seat, I want to take time to honor even the larger group of healthcare heroes. Healthcare heroes is a big part of my family. My daughter is a nurse at Manatee Memorial. Both of my sisters, Marianne and Cindy, both worked at the hospital and worked in the healthcare industry. I have several nieces that are nurses and work in the healthcare. From the earliest days of the pandemic to today, our healthcare and emergency response professionals have worked around the clock to take care of our community. Thousands of professionals give 110% and continue to do so as we navigate a full recovery. Please, anybody that was a past healthcare worker or a present healthcare worker, please stand and be recognized. Please join me in sharing our appreciation for their incredible response. And it's interesting when you're at a chamber event like this. My sister being here tonight, Cindy, she worked at Manatee Memorial. She actually worked with Carol Whitmore, and I did not know that, and I've known Carol forever, and we just never made the connection. So it's really nice. That's what the chamber does for you, makes connections. So I'd like to recognize one of my USF family, Dr. Karen Holbrook and her team, a graduate of USF. So all my USF graduates, this is my only opportunity to recognize you. Please stand and be recognized. I am serving on the board for University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee. I don't know if I replaced Rick Piccolo. You can't replace Rick, but Rick also served on the board there, and Sally was also a big part of it. So thank you guys for serving our USF team. I have the honor of introducing to you a special young man. His name is Benjamin Harshberger Schubert. He is a student at the University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee campus, and was the recipient of the 3rd Robert P. Bartz Memorial Scholarship. Ben, would you please stand and be recognized? The Robert P. Bartz Memorial Endowed Scholarship at the USF Sarasota Manatee campus is a prestigious fund which recognizes students with outstanding academic achievement. It is available to juniors or seniors pursuing a degree in a college of business and who are attending USF either part-time or full-time. Ben recently graduated from USF with a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology after receiving his AA from the State College of Florida. He completed his degree while also working full-time. During that time, he supported his loving wife, Glenna, in all her academic and career pursuits, while raising an energetic and inquisitive daughter named Eleanor, who turns 3 in September. Ben is the Sarasota local who graduated from Booker High School and intends to keep his roots planted here in our region. His future goals include obtaining more IT certifications and a career transition that allows him to serve as the head of administrator of technology systems as a robust and vibrant organization in the area. Ben, congratulations to you. Finally, I have the privilege of introducing to you your 2021 Chairman of the Board, Mr. Phil Baker. Like my year as chairman, Phil's year has not been exactly normal either, but he's leading us with incredible dedication and commitment. I cannot say enough about the brainpower, leadership, and day-to-day support our executive committee and board gives to the chamber. Some background about Phil. Phil graduated from Manatee High School. He went on to West Point and studied there for 2 years. He finished up, he's a Gator at University of Florida, and he was also an Eagle Scout, which I was not known, which is very impressive, so congratulations on that. Phil is the Vice President at Boyd Insurance and Investment Services and has been with the firm for more than 40 years. His involvement with our chamber has spanned decades. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Phil Baker to the stage.
Thank you very much for that warm welcome. And Ernie, please don't leave. I want to let you know that you set a record this year. You had the most bizarre, unique, and unusual year in the history of the chairman of the boards of the Manatee Chamber of Commerce. Yes. You served with some unique attributes. You were very calm. You were very innovative and certainly available, as we've heard. So you were just the right person for chairman of the board in 2020. Thank you very much. We shared our appreciation with you at the January board meeting, but we have another couple of things we'd like to present to you tonight. First, we have a personally signed memento from all of the chamber staff to thank Ernie for his leadership and his friendship, not just as chairman, but as you heard, for over 30 years as a chamber member. And Jackie has that framed photo down front signed by all of the chamber staff. So you'll have fun reviewing that and enjoying it in the future. We also have an original piece of artwork just for you by member Sarah Taylor. We think you'll appreciate that it includes both you and Cindy and has a certain sport theme to it. So that's a great piece of art also. On behalf of the board and the membership, we also have a chairman's plaque for you that will remind you of this past year at the helm. Many times throughout our meetings, you had to use the virtual gavel. Well, now you'll have one, the real gavel, in-person gavel on your plaque. So we have that plaque we'd like to present to you. And Ernie, I do know one last thing, that you have the custom chairman's pen, the 14-karat gold and diamond pen, so generously designed and donated by Tom and Donna Seguin of Suncoast Gems, and we know that that will be a part of your future for years and years to come. So Ernie, thank you for your leadership during an incredible year. You have added so much to the legacy of the chamber and your mission in serving businesses and our community. Thank you very much. My job is to keep this place rocking and keep it going, and we're going to do that. So things are going to get better and better as we go along tonight. Next, I'd like to recognize the leaders who are serving on the Chamber Board of Directors. These men and women are focused on a long list of business and community priorities, opportunities, and challenges, while keeping you and your businesses at the center of the Chamber's mission. I encourage you to turn to page 9 in your printed program. As you do that, I ask that those serving on the Chamber's Board of Directors this year please stand to be recognized. Their dedication is very appreciated and important. So current board members, please stand and let us honor you. Thank you all for your commitment and leadership. It has already been quite an eventful and fruitful year for the work of the Board of Directors. It's hard to believe we are at the midpoint of 2021. We have experienced incredible change and a transition back to a more fully, quote, unquote, normal way of life and doing business. It has been amazing to see the way that our chamber, its leaders, and its members have pulled together to accomplish incredible things and to set a vision for even more as we move forward. We have had a very successful state legislative session with several chamber-backed initiatives and priorities making it to the finish line. I applaud our elected officials for their partnership with our chamber. As the voice of business, we had a long list of policy positions that found success in Tallahassee this year. Ernie mentioned that with full and careful consideration, we returned in a number of in-person events and programs in the fall of last year. We have continued that progress, and there is much more to come in the second half of this year, thanks to the incredible support of our members giving to these efforts. Just look around this room and you will see the power and influence of the Manatee Chambers Network. Give yourself a round of applause. We learned a lot the past 15 months about how we can build an even stronger ecosystem to support our businesses. I'm excited about the work ahead and look forward to sharing more successes with you at our next annual dinner. Ernie has well covered our chamber staff and all that they do. I won't try to go through and miss names. So Jackie and staff, thank you so much for all that you do. I would like to thank my colleagues at Boyd Insurance that continue to pick up the slack while I'm out at events and meetings and various chamber commitments. They have graciously come tonight with some friends and is supporting me, and I appreciate that very much. Can't go on without not mentioning the First Lady of the Chamber, my rock, my encouragement, my support, my lovely Diana. So thank you. Here's where things really start getting good. A very special part of this evening's program is our opportunity to hear from Barry Banther. He is a great friend of our chamber and a great friend of the late Bob Bartz. Barry is a sought-after speaker, consultant, and best-selling author. He has 4 decades of experience, first as a leader in nationwide enterprise, and then as the founder and CEO of 2 professional services firms. He has facilitated our Chamber of Commerce planning retreat for more than a decade. And he has written over 50 leadership development programs used in industries around the world. His latest book, A Leader's Gift, How to Earn the Right to Be Followed, listen to this, achieved #1 bestseller status on Amazon on the day of its release. Today, yes. Tonight, he will be sharing a message entitled, A Heart to Help, the secret to your career, your family, your life. Please help me in giving a warm welcome to Barry Banther.
It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. And with those immortal words, Charles Dickens began A Tale of Two Cities. And that's kind of where we are tonight, isn't it? Is it the best of times or is it the worst of times? Today, we were told by the feds we had over 6% growth in the first 6 months of this year, and we perhaps will have as much as 2% in the second half. So that can be good news. And yet at the same time, there are people here tonight who are looking for workers, looking for employees, and perhaps some that are even in the place of great uncertainty. What really matters is our perspective, isn't it? Now, I've been speaking for about 30 seconds, and your perspective is he's not from Boston. I'm not. I'm from the mountains of western North Carolina and North Georgia. We came to Florida 40 years ago to spend one winter, and we never looked back. Maybe we can demonstrate it this way. Do me a favor, would you? Take your index finger and put it straight up in the air. Can you do that? Just get it straight up in the air and get it going like the face of a clock. Look at it like a clock. Now gently keep it going like the face of a clock. Bring it down. Peek over. What happened? Now it's counterclockwise. Don't change. Do it again. Keep it going like the face of a clock. Now keep it going. Peek at it. What happened from here to here? Our perspective. I was with a group of orthopedic surgeons a few months ago. They were sitting over here. The rest of the presentation, they're doing this, trying to figure out what happened, what went wrong with it. Perspective makes all the difference. And one of the things that can cloud our perspective are our assumptions. Have you ever found yourself making assumptions that weren't true? Janice and I have been blessed to be married for 45 years. Now, she likes to say that we've been together 25 because I've been traveling since we got married. But a few years ago, I came home and there was no kiss, no hello, nothing like that. I thought, well, I don't want the rest of the night to go like this. So I walked into the kitchen and I said, sweetheart, is something wrong? She said, yes, there is. I thought of a question I wanted to ask you today. I thought of what your typical response would be, and I'm mad at you for it. Now, give me another chance at the question. You're laughing at that because that's been your experience. Is it possible, is it even possible, that one statement, one sentence could change our lives if we just had the right assumption? Is it possible that one sentence or one statement might even change a country or a nation? Or perhaps, is it even conceivable that one sentence could change the world? It was as innocuous a comment as could possibly be made. There were dusty streets. There were no newspapers, no televisions, no social media, no Instagram, no broadcast facilities. And a Jewish rabbi was speaking with a small group of people when an attorney who was in the group raised his hand. And he said, Master, how do I inherit eternal life? And Jesus answered and said, well, what do you think? What does the law say? And he responded and said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus replied and said, you've spoken the truth. And then the young lawyer asked a question to which the answer has rung through history. Jesus, who is my neighbor? And he told the story, Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan. Remember that story? Regardless of our background and our education, our religious perspective, we've all heard that marvelous story. A certain man went down to Jerusalem. He was Jewish by birth, and he had 3 men walk by him. Now, the first 2 ignored him. Martin Luther King said about those first 2, he said, they were asking the question, if we stop and help him because we're of an opposite race, we're of an opposite culture, if we stop and help him, what might happen to us? But the third man, Dr. King said, the Samaritan, who also was an enemy of the Jews, he asked the question, if I don't stop and help him, what might happen to him? There's a Chinese proverb that says, if you want to be happy for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. If you want happiness for a year, inherit wealth. But if you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone. COVID has been a gift. Oh, tragedy in so many lives to those of us who've lost friends or those who still suffer with the aftermath. But it's been a gift. And I think it's been a gift for one simple reason. It's brought out the best in us. The Manatee County community is not great because of our development, our roads, our businesses. Those are marvelous. Those are wonderful. But it's great because so many of the people in Manatee County are simply good. Your chamber this last year, as you heard, took thousands of phone calls. I was speaking with a member of the chamber staff, and they said, we actually were on telephone calls with people that were crying. They were afraid, they had lost their jobs, they were losing their homes, they didn't know what to do, and all the chamber staff could do was be there for them. You see, I'm convinced there's a reason why this is the #1 chamber. Now, let me be fair, I've worked with all the chambers in Tampa Bay. This is the best. It's very similar to the others. It's about business, it's about networking. That's what brings people to the Manatee Chamber, but it's not what keeps them there. It's not what brought you here tonight. It's community. This is a chamber uniquely committed to community, whether it's in our governments, whether it's in our businesses, whether it's in our schools or our communities. In this room tonight is a cross-section of all of Manatee County, from private business to rather different political interests, different governmental interests, competing businesses, all in one place, celebrating one thing: a heart to help. A heart that responds to what he said on that day all those thousands of years ago. This is your neighbor. Your neighbor is the one who was the Good Samaritan. You remember what the Good Samaritan did? He stopped, he bandaged up his wounds, he took his own wine and provided it for his healing. He took him to a roadhouse, offered to pay the bill. How many times did that happen in Manatee County over the last 12, 15 months, where financial help was made available? Chamber members went out of their way. In fact, do me a favor, just for a moment. Think about the most selfless act you've seen in the last year in your part of Manatee County. Think about that person, and he might even be in this room, that you look back and think, wow, what a selfless act that person had. We've been very blessed in our home to have an 11-year-old granddaughter, Miss Olivia. Miss Olivia was born under some serious health considerations, but right there in the labor room and in the delivery room, the doctors said she's perfect. But she really wasn't perfect. Within a short period of time, it became apparent that she had a challenge, that she perhaps had some skeletal or emotional challenge, and suddenly it became apparent it was serious. Now, it took several years to identify her challenge. She has a rare chromosome depletion. It's so rare there's no name for it, and it primarily attracts in her an opportunity to not be able to speak. It affects her ability to speak. Imagine, I'm currently the chairman of the board of the National Speakers Association, and I have learned to listen in this year of COVID from a little girl who can hardly speak sometimes. I have a friend who wrote a wonderful book called Actuate the Brain, and I asked him when Miss Olivia was only about 3 or 4, I said, Scott, I want to do anything I can to help Olivia. What do I do? He said, well, Barry, there are 3 things. First of all, everybody has to be all in. I said, we're all in. He said, secondly, bombard her with therapy. I said, we will. And he said, finally, she needs a grandfather that'll pay for it. And I said, I will. And then he said, Barry, in about 3 years, when she's about 6 or 7, I guarantee you a miracle will happen. And it won't be in her. Was he so right? We can't imagine how empty our life would be without the challenges that we've watched this girl so bravely face. In the past 15 months in Manatee County, so many of our fellow citizens, so many of those people who work for us and with us have faced enormous challenges, and we've seen in them a heart to help. I think the Christ was right when he said, this indeed is your neighbor. But it didn't stop there. It made its way to the Protestant Reformation. It made its way to our Declaration of Independence. It made its way to our Constitution. And it was said by so many people in the 17 and 1800s, America is great because America is good. And tonight we know that to be self-evident. We know that to be true. We know that a heart to help has been at the heart and the basis of all that we are. Do you remember the name General Booth, the founder of the Salvation Army? You know, the Salvation Army right here in Manatee County does amazing things, and the Chamber shows great support to the Salvation Army. General Booth would go speak at organizations like this or in churches, and people would line up to get his autograph. They would have a Bible or a piece of paper, and they would want General Booth to sign it. When he became so feeble that he couldn't write, he simply wrote one word, others. He wrote the word others. I'm very proud of my wife, Janice. She received the Others Award from the Salvation Army for the southeastern U.S. from an organization she started over 20 years ago called Birth Behind Bars, working with pregnant inmates in jails and in prisons. And right here in Manatee County, sitting in this room tonight, are people who do similar things. A heart to help those who find themselves in a place that we can hardly ever imagine in our own lives. But it doesn't stop there. It's not just government where a heart to help matters, and it's not just in our religious and social and community organizations. How about business? Study the life of Truett Cathy. Now, you may have some differences with Mr. Cathy, who's now passed away, but no one can argue that a man who had such a passion for young people, a passion to help young people find their place in life, a passion for young people. Do you realize Mr. Cathy and his wife took in foster children his entire life while he was building what many will argue is now the most successful fast food franchise in history, the Winship program at Berry College in Rome, Georgia, where so many of those profits from Chick-fil-A have gone. So whether it's in our government, whether it's in our civic organizations, whether it's in our community, whether it's in our business, a heart to help could be considered the key to success. It was a desperate day in World War II. It appeared as though Hitler was going to achieve success and dominate Europe. All of the Allies had gathered in a chalet and palace in England, planning what would be the largest military invasion in history, what we know as D-Day. The day it was supposed to happen was just 24 hours away. And the weathermen and the generals all gathered, Winston Churchill, General Eisenhower, and the report was consistent. Don't do it. Don't do it. The weather is too bad. We cannot possibly succeed. But General Eisenhower looked at the group and said, those men and women, those children in Europe, they need our help. And we're going to go, and we're going to go tonight. He personally stood on the runway there where he was to see those airmen taking off, and he wanted them to see him on the runway. After the last plane took off, he pulled out his wallet, and he had a piece of paper he had written something on, and he put it in his wallet and put it back in his pocket. The adjutant that was assigned to him later, after the invasion was successful, said, General Eisenhower, you put something in your pocket. Would you please, would you let me have that? I think whatever that is, it belongs to history. I'll paraphrase it for you. What he had written in his pocket on that note was, the time has come. The weather is horrible. The generals do not believe we should go. No one thinks it's the right time. However, our airmen are prepared. Our Navy is ready. Our soldiers are ready. If they fail, the responsibility is mine alone. That's a heart to help that's willing to take tremendous risk. So it's not only our government, our civic organizations, our military, our community. Having a heart to help can be the key to your life. It was for me. Now, if you've ever been to Franklin, North Carolina, as Bob loved Franklin, or if you've ever been to Highlands or Cashers, you've passed right past my boyhood home and never knew it on Highway 441. I lived in a 4-room house next to our family sawmill. And when I say next to, I mean here was my bedroom, and there was the saw. I was about 6 years old when my father said to me, he said, Barry, you're left-handed and the mill's set up for right-handed people. You'll have to do something else. Well, my brother worked in the sawmill. My dad worked in the sawmill. My uncles worked in the sawmill. And I remember as I started going through school thinking, what will I do? Now, I was a sophomore in high school when my high school guidance counselor, Beecher Duball, who had come up from the University of Georgia, he was from Atlanta, he'd come to teach in this little mountain school. And he called me into his office and he said, Barry, there's a school in New England that has a program for this next summer term. I think you could qualify. I got all excited. I went home, I told my dad, I said, Dad, my counselor thinks I could qualify to go to this program for a term. And my dad looked at me and said, a phrase some of you will recognize. He said, son, you don't want to get above your raising. Little did I know that Beecher would go ahead and help me fill out that application. And it was just a few weeks after that that I received a letter from Phillips Andover Academy saying, we've accepted you into this program. I remember standing at the bus station in Clayton, Georgia, on that Sunday morning. You see, they sent a voucher for an airplane ticket. My dad sent it back and said, send a bus ticket. He said, son, if you take an airplane, you won't see anything but Asheville and Boston. He said, take a bus and you'll see everything. Boy, did I see everything. I saw Asheville, I saw Danville, I saw Richmond, I saw Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia. I can close my eyes and still remember New York City, that the bus went underground. I'd never been in a vehicle where I couldn't see trees. It was shocking to me. We get to Boston. I get out and I walk up to the desk clerk there at the bus station. I said, how far is it to Andover? And he told me, and I thought, well, I'll hitchhike. I'm not going to get a ticket. I climbed over a fence out onto a 4-lane highway and stuck my thumb out. A guy came by in a pickup truck, and he said, where are you from? And I said, well, I'm from Georgia. He said, where? And I said, Georgia. He said, oh, Georgia. He said, you can't do this. Get in here. When he pulled that pickup in front of the lawn at Andover, I'd never seen grass that green. Buildings that tall, named after their alumni, Oliver Wendell Holmes, Paul Revere. It was a heady thing. After a few days, it was the first day of classes, and I walked into the English class, and I will change his name. We'll call him Dr. Smith. And I sat there, and I remember being pretty tense, and Dr. Smith handed out something. It was a piece of paper, and he wrote something on a blackboard. Those of you who don't know what that is, Google it when you get home. You'll see what a blackboard is. And I noticed that everybody else was writing something. So I started writing. I was doing what I thought, and in about 20 minutes I was finished. Dr. Smith said, pass your papers to the front. I did. And I remember thinking to myself, my father told me this would be tough. This isn't tough. I can do this. 3 days passed. We're back in class. And here's something else to Google, mimeograph. Dr. Smith had mimeographed our papers, and he's handing out all the papers. When the paper landed on my desk, I looked over at my fellow students. They all had the same paper. It was my paper. Now, my name had been taken off of it, and I thought, not only can I do this, I'm obviously the best at this in the class. Dr. Smith looked out at the class and he said, students, in front of you is the writing of an illiterate human being. They all laughed like you just did. And for the next 20 minutes, he tore that paper apart. Well, what do you think this word means? Is this a jungle sentence here? And I remember sitting there thinking, everything they told me about Yankees is true. I get out of here, I got a bus ticket to Asheville, North Carolina. I'll never come north of the Mason-Dixon line again. The bell rang and I darted for the door, and I heard this voice over the crowd of the students. Banther, I want to see you. I turned around. Dr. Smith was at his desk. By the time I got there, everybody had left the room but me. He looked at me and he said, you're angry at me. And he slid a piece of paper across and he said, can you write on this paper how you feel about me? I said, yes, sir, and I can spell those words. And I didn't run. Dr. Smith looked at me and he said, good. Now your heart and your head and your hand are all connected. You'll meet me here after class every period. I will teach you how to make this permanent. Almost 25 years to the day, I raised my right hand in Tallahassee, Florida, and I was sworn in as the chairman of the Florida State Board of Independent Colleges and Universities. I was responsible for 500,000 students in 106 schools, but I never forgot that brief conversation with one man who, for whatever reason, had a heart to help me. Now, that began in my grandmother. If you've ever been to Lake Toxaway, North Carolina, you've been near where my grandmother lived. My grandmother had a 50-acre farm, never had indoor electric, never had indoor plumbing, only had indoor electric the last year or two of her life. She had 50 acres she farmed. She never had a tractor, never had a truck, never had a driver's license. She had a team in a barn. Some of you will know what that is. And I can remember being with my Mom Bethy, as I called her, and I would be complaining about something, about school or an organization I was in, and she would turn me around and she would say, now, son, listen to me. In life, you reap what you sow. You get out there and sow compassion. You get out there and sow love. You sow helping people, and goodness and mercy will follow you all the days of your life. In my public career, in my business career, in my speaking career, that lady who never traveled more than 50 miles from Lake Toxaway couldn't have been more right. We're here tonight, every one of us, because we can think of someone who is willing to sow something into us. And what we're looking at tonight, what we're reaping tonight, is what one man chose to sow into this community for 35 years. And we're reaping it here tonight. I want to suggest to all of us that Randy Travis' song is probably a good one to remember. Do you remember three wooden crosses? Listen to the last words of the song. It's not what you take when you leave this world behind you. It's what you leave behind when you go. You know, the words of Jesus were a great example. This is your neighbor. The founding with the Protestant Reformation is a tremendous encouragement. The example of America being so good should inspire all of us. The business people who've made helping customers and people the heart of their success should be a role model for us. But in truth, tonight, we only need to remember one person. Because who could have been a better example of having a heart to help than Bob Bartz? I spoke at a Florida Chamber Executive Association meeting, and Bob called me shortly after that. It was in the last century. He called me and he said, I think you can help us. And he asked if I would help facilitate a leadership retreat. Now, those of you who knew Bob knew how he worked. When Bob would call me to talk about it, all he wanted to talk about was what he hoped would happen that would benefit the citizens of Manatee County. We talked about the hospital need to have an emergency net. We talked about housing. We talked about business development. But he always wanted to talk about how can we help the citizens. Then his second topic would always be the participants in the retreat. Some of you sitting in this room, some of you sitting on the front row in shorts, he would often say to me, he would say, now be careful because he's thinking this, be careful. He always was concerned. He had a heart to help every single individual member. And then he would do this for me, because whenever I would facilitate something, and I've done hundreds and hundreds of those, my team in my office packs up everything we need. I never had to do that with Bob. Bob always carried a toolbox. Anybody remember the toolbox? You open that toolbox up, and it had everything any facilitator would ever need for the rest of their life. And he made sure I had that. He put that right in front of me. Bob Bartz is an example for the 35 years that he led the chamber, 35 plus years with the chamber, and 65 years of his life, that the key to success personally and professionally is to have a heart to help. I know he felt that way about his dear family. I know he felt that way about his retreat home in North Carolina. Bob Bartz would walk into a room, take the lowest seat, and he would lead from that seat, wouldn't he? He would lead because of that heart that he was willing to open up. So is it the best of times or is it the worst of times? It's your time. You get to choose. This chamber, this community chose how we would respond to the COVID pandemic, and who we will be tomorrow and who this chamber will be in a decade will not be the result of choices that our dear Bob Bartz made. He's resting in peace. It'll be the choices that we made. Bob Bartz left behind footsteps. And Randy Travis's song, it's not what you take when you leave this world, it's what you leave behind when you go. Bob Bartz was a leaver behinder. He left behind what we're sharing and exemplifying and participating in tonight. Now, when we hear those words, it's the best of times, the worst of times, that's only half the sentence that Charles Dickens wrote. Here's the next part of the sentence. It was an age of great wisdom. It was an age of foolishness. That's the choice that we need to make in Manatee County right now. Will this be an age of foolishness? Let's just get back to normal. Let's just, everybody fend for himself. Let's just all get in there and fight for what we think is ours. Or will this be an age of wisdom that Bob Bartz exemplified for us, where we'll put the interest of our total citizens above our personal interest? We'll put the desire to help someone next to us who may be of a totally different race, a totally different political persuasion. Will we choose to be the Good Samaritan who asks, if I don't help this person, what will happen to them, rather than the two who passed by and said, I don't want to bear any responsibility for this? Bob Bartz left behind not only a legacy of his life, he left footsteps. By God's grace, may we walk in those steps. We'll be better people, we'll be better parents, this will be a better chamber, Manatee will be a better place to live if we make that choice. And there was someone who had a front row seat to all of this. Last year, he was the recipient of the Bob Bartz Legacy Award, and he comes tonight to honor a couple who certainly deserve to receive this award. Would you please join me in welcoming Bob Turner?
Okay, I'm going to stick to script.
because Dottie is right there. So the Chamber's theme for next year, I'm told, Jackie, and this better be true, is better together. And there is really no better example of better together than John and Amanda Horn. Though individually they're dynamic in their own right and responsible for making very positive changes in the community, they really are unbelievable together. Imagine 1 + 1 equaling a dozen, and that's what happens. And I don't know how they do it. It's magic. They own 4 very popular, very successful restaurants. And so you would think that that was enough for you to do, right? You know, you didn't need a hobby or a side job or what do they call it, a side hustle these days. But that's really just a start for them. That's just where they begin. Their interest in the well-being of Manatee County and our residents runs very deeply. They co-founded the Horn Moon Scholarship to raise money for GAP students to attend State College of Florida, USF S&M, and Manatee Technical College. I mean, this was an idea they had with the Moons, and they just decided, well, let's get this done. Amanda was recognized by the Women's Resource Center for her work on education on behalf of women and girls. John is a past chairman of the Manatee Chamber. Amanda and John began the Dive into Reading program 4 years ago to help grade school students improve their reading skills and make the transition from learning to read to reading to learn. Earlier today, John was inducted as chairman of the board of the Florida Leadership Program. Congratulations. He could have told me that before I wrote the speech. I had to change the whole thing. So when the pandemic affected their restaurant, as it did many of us, John and Amanda stood out in their approach. They felt their employees were vulnerable, not just to the virus, but to economic problems. So with that concern in mind, they made adjustments and they paid their employees benefits and salaries well above what the norm was. Page turn. Then they took the opportunity to make their restaurants safe, both for their employees and for their customers. But they didn't say, okay, the CDC guidelines are 50%, so we're going to go 50%. They were more cautious and more thoughtful than that. They went above and beyond to make their employees and their customers safer in a better physical environment. As a result of treating their employees well, they're more likely to come back to work for John and Amanda. As a result of being so careful with their customers' health, their customers have come back. A problem most business owners are facing well. But John and Amanda didn't do it thinking, well, we're going to be rewarded at the end. They did the right thing. They did what they thought was the right thing to do. During those tough times when many people were siding with one political party or another and making the virus a political football, they didn't follow any doctrine aligned with those parties. They chose to do what was right. Even in the middle of managing the crisis that gripped their business and their livelihood, they maintained a steadfast commitment to the community. In the middle of the pandemic, they decided it was a good idea to launch a capital campaign for the PACE Center for Girls. Okay, I didn't say they had the best judgment in the world. They're currently co-chairing this much-needed project. It's a $5 million project, and as you hear how things are coming in, it's, what did you raise? Well, I don't know. Not much. What'd you do? I don't know. What'd John and Amanda do? About $3.5–4 million. I mean, they have been dynamic. They have led the way. And as a result, they will create a better and more nurturing environment for the PACE Center girls who need help so badly. After 2 successful building years, the Dive Into Reading program was in question due to the pandemic. No one would have challenged a decision to halt the program, let's put it on hold, but they said, let's go forward. Even though we had a slight downturn in the reading skills over the past summer, it would have been tons worse without their perseverance. And they had to completely renovate and recreate the program to make it a Zoom-friendly program. And that took a lot of work at a time when they could have sat on the sideline and waited. These examples highlight these 2 selfless individuals and their vision and hope for a better community. The awards and accolades they have received, I can't even list. But trust me, they are plentiful. They don't seek recognition, yet their well-intended actions have brought them many accolades. But I think the more important thing to them is that they've been able to ignite community spirit in others. And that is the essence of the Bob Bartz Award. So I proudly introduce to you my personal friends and a Manatee community treasure, John and Amanda Horn.
Buzz is just too funny. Absolutely too funny. Thank you guys so very much. We're both truly humbled and grateful for this amazing honor. Bob Bartz exemplified the spirit of public service in Manatee County. You just have to look around this room tonight to see his leadership. He started Leadership Manatee when he got here. He mentored both business owners, his chamber family. I mean, just look at Jackie and tell me that he didn't mentor some awesome, awesome people. And his belief for a better community, I mean, I can't stress what Barry just said about Bob Bartz. It's just how he inspired those around him to that end about community service. We're lucky to have Vicki and Jason and Catherine in our family, in our community. They are awesome.
So, to those that nominated us, are you sure this is what Bob would have wanted? Really? I mean, he was never sure about this short suit. And those margaritas. Yeah, well, pretty certain that's what got us up here, to be honest. Serve enough margaritas and they'll eventually cave. From our Leadership Manatee bus to every chamber board meeting, to when he was chair of the chamber, and to every chamber retreat. I think that's the secret, really. It's the margaritas, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Bob had a hard time with me in shorts all the time. He was driving me to a luncheon one day. He gave me a lift, and I was in shorts, and Vern Buchanan was the speaker. And Bob said to me, he's like, "John, do you wear long pants for anyone?" He said, "We're going to see the congressman today, and you're in shorts." And I just looked at Bob, and I said, "Bob, he works for me. It's not the other way around." He should impress me, not the other way around. We are so very lucky to work with such an incredible team at the Anna Maria Oyster Bars. I'm sure they cringe every time we walk up and say, "Hey, I got another idea." I know you do. How about we bring in 500 local school kids to the restaurants for breakfast and reading? Yeah, I know we don't serve breakfast, but it's just for 5 weeks. This incredible team steps up, works harder, and makes it happen, and makes us look great. That's the beauty of it. They do all the hard work, and we get all the credit. It's perfect. I want to thank all of my guys, my girls that work with us. We've got a lot of them here. You're the ones that make it all happen. If you guys will all stand up, everybody from the Oyster Bar team.
You guys are so awesome.
My dad's here tonight, too. So Dad, Linda, please stand up and get a big bow. Ernie, I'm trying to keep up. Dad's only 90, though. I mean, I know your mom's 91, but Dad's only 90.
And Barry, he got a lot out of your talk, because that was his generation. But it's certainly been an amazing day today, and I think as Buzzy said, I'm so proud today that John began his term as chair of Leadership Florida today. And that's an incredible honor for all of us.
It is a true honor, and we've done so much statewide lately with the Restaurant and Lodging Association, with Leadership Florida, but there's no better place than Manatee County. There really isn't. This is the greatest place any of us could be. I was asked to talk to the members of Junior Leadership Manatee recently at their graduation, and my message to them was twofold. One of them was, as Barry said, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. I mean, Vince Lombardi said, you can fall down as long as you get up one more time, then you fall down, and it's so true. We've all failed at something. Lord knows I failed at more things. I gave the commencement speech at SCF, and I asked, and it was kind of like this, you can hardly see out because the lights are so bright. I said, anyone out there have a 1.74 GPA one semester? And all of a sudden I heard, you could tell people were pointing at one kid. Obviously, they were just giggling. And I just said, that's my boy right there. That's my boy. I said, I had a 1.74, and let me tell you, bringing that report card home to that old man over there was not pleasant. But what I wanted to stress to him, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. You can fail, but still get up and still make up for what you've failed at. It doesn't, if you don't let it define you. The other thing I told them, and it's the most important thing, is everywhere you go, you have to make friends. You have to meet people, you have to learn people, and you have to make friends. You start in grade school making friends. You make friends at Junior Leadership Manatee. Amanda and I have some close friends from our time in Leadership Manatee. I know Ray Dowling was in our class. I don't know if anybody else in our class is here tonight. But Tara? But you make friends in that. It's all about helping each other, just as Barry stressed. It's it's just imperative. It's all about helping each other out, giving words of encouragement when someone fails, words of praise when someone does well. Since it was announced that we were the recipients of this year's Bob Bartz Award, I cannot tell you how many handwritten cards we've received, how many texts, how many flowers, how many words of praise, how many digital signs have been out. Thanks, Air and Energy. That was just awesome that we've received. It's just been phenomenal. It's all about the contacts you make daily that are so important. And that's where I think our community sets itself apart from anywhere else. Manatee is absolutely awesome. And we're so fortunate to have so many friends who are so near and dear to us today. There are many people here tonight that Amanda and I, to see us when we receive this award, and we truly are humbled and grateful that you took the time to be here. So speaking of elementary school, I have someone that I have not seen since 5th grade that's here tonight. Lisa Shirley, well, that was her name in 5th grade. Lisa is here, and we met in the lobby for the first time since 5th grade. And guess what? We were friends in 5th grade. I wanted to be more than just friends. But, you know, she saw through me.
Thank God.
Because I'd been failing miserable in that age. Jay Ellis and I have known each other since probably 2 years old. So I made sure that Lisa and Jay got to see each other. Mary Marks came down from Jacksonville to be here today. She's part of the PACE crew and part of Leadership Florida. It's just amazing the ability to put people together and how important it is about friendship and about how everybody can help each other out.
It really is. It's true. Everything that we have accomplished is through teamwork and collaboration. So many of you here tonight are part of this, and that is what makes our community so amazing. We are all working together to build a community that is equitable for all, that gives our children and our families the ability to succeed and grow. And we are trying to follow Bob's lead by doing this and trying to make him proud.
The best thing you'll see looking up here is on my left.
He slipped something into this speech.
She didn't see this part. Amanda and I met in 2006, and from that point on, my life just completely turned for the better. There's nothing more important. It's true. Ernie, it wasn't 74, but we're trying to catch up with you. Amanda and I are counting by twos for our anniversary. So this year we'll have been married 18 years, and we met in 06, so you do the math and figure that one out. We want to be married 50 years, so we figure we better do it by twos to catch that far. But my whole world changed when we met and we got together, and it's just been awesome every since then. So thanks to Manatee County. Thank you all for supporting us at the Oyster Bars and also for helping out our chamber and our community. We are so fortunate to be mentioned in the same breath as Cliff. What's that other guy's name? Ron. That guy. When were you chairman? Was it this century? No, it wasn't, was it? Ron and Buzz. We love you guys all so much. This is a great community. It takes a village, and man, we love our village. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you all very much. John and Amanda, congratulations. What a great testimony to your work. I would encourage each of you to use the example of Amanda and John as the inspiration for your own good work. There's something so special about our community, and the biggest reason is people. People like you who are sitting in this room. Thank you very much again, John and Amanda. Congratulations. Before we draw our raffle winner, I would like to thank everyone who has supported tonight's silent auction. You'll see posters located in the lobby at the registration table listing the silent auction winners. If you see your name, please check out at the registration table to claim your awesome item. And now I'd like to ask Linda Formella of Formella Construction to please come up on the stage. I can't see either.
Okay. Maybe lean right in and we'll do it for her.
Is Linda here?
Okay, we'll draw the drawing.
Okay. If you're the lucky winner, someone will have a 5-night stay at the beautiful cabin in Blue Ridge, Georgia. You're going to do it?
You're going to do it.
Okay. There we go. Why don't you do? I don't have my glasses.
Kathleen Leapart. Kathleen, you have won. You will claim that in the lobby. Thank you, and we will close this out with final thank yous from Phil.
We want to give a special thank you to the many sponsors who invested in tonight's event. Please share your appreciation with them. They're coming up on the screen as we close the meeting. I'd like to give a special thank you to Charles Clapsaddle, Chris Dolan, and the Emmy TV team for their hard work tonight. Again, thank you to our elected officials. Your partnership is so important. I'd like to invite the person at your table with the birthday closest to mine, which is February 22nd, to take the beautiful floral centerpiece home, compliments of tropical interiors. Finally, look around the room. You are the Manatee Chamber. If not the Manatee Chamber, then who? We're excited about what lies ahead. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Barry Banther, who's recently been inducted into the Hall of Fame for keynote speakers and inspirational speaking. Thank you for being here tonight.
I am so excited to be at this event. I think it's the first one here in the Bradenton Conference Convention Center in some time, but I'm more excited about being with the Manatee Chamber, the #1 chamber in Tampa Bay. I've been blessed to work with this chamber for over 20 years. There's no chamber, and they're all good, but there's none that have done the job of building a community like this chamber has. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, that's so great. And I know you're tonight's key speaker. So what is your message that you're hoping to impart on this sold-out house that we have tonight?
Well, that's a great question. I hope that I do that. Bob Bartz, who is the former president of this chamber, who passed away several years ago. I worked with Bob for almost 2 decades. What an inspiration he was. And he was an inspiration because he was about caring for other people. You know the story of the Good Samaritan?
Yes.
That's who Bob was.
Oh.
Without any regard for a person's lineage, heritage, status in the community, if he could help them, he wanted to help them. That's our theme tonight. Because I believe Manatee County is a great place to live, not just because of our businesses and our infrastructure and our organizations, but the people. These are good people who care about other people. And wow, this year we saw that come to light, didn't we?
We really did with COVID and everything like that. And so with now, COVID restrictions lifting, and I know you're involved with the chamber as well, what do you hope to see more events like this or community engagement?
Well, I certainly hope we can see more events, but here's what I hope we don't lose. We don't lose that sense of corporate responsibility. We all had a sense to care for each other, to care for our elderly, to care for those that were first responders. Let's never lose that. Even as we return to some state of normalcy, let's keep that sense of compassion and care for each other, because that's what builds great communities.
That's so true. We're really looking forward to your message tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Hi, I'm here tonight with Jackie Delzelski, who's the president and CEO of the Manatee County Chamber of Commerce. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. It's going to be a great evening. You've seen the space. We're expecting more than 600 business leaders to join us tonight.
That's really awesome. And I know, under your leadership that you've really done wonderful things with the chamber lately. Do you think how did people respond to this event in particular?
Well, this event is one of our first large in-person events since we have started recovery from the pandemic. And again, as you can see from the turnout tonight, the business community has responded. I think that they're ready to be with one another. And while digital tools are so important and have allowed us to accomplish so much, there is nothing like being in person in a community in which you're living, raising your family, and owning a business.
I totally agree. And also, what is your vision now that the COVID restrictions have lifted, for the next following events, and what would you like to see and accomplish with the chamber?
We've got a number of initiatives coming that will be new or expansions of what we have been doing for quite a while. But one thing that became crystal clear during the past 15 months was the ability and opportunity that we have to build an even stronger ecosystem to support small businesses. It was small businesses, particularly early on in the pandemic, that were looking for even more help navigating resources and assistance programs, HR challenges. When you've got a business owner, with 5 or fewer employees, they're the HR, the director, the IT director, the finance director, and they're the one that takes out the trash. And so there is such an opportunity for resources through the chamber to help small businesses.
That's so awesome. That's inspiring too, So thank you so much for all of your time. You've been with the chamber now for 25 years, I believe?
For 25 years, and trained by the very best, a legend in our industry, the late Bob Bartz, who we will honor his legacy tonight with the annual Bob Bartz Award as well. So it's going to be a fabulous evening together.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks. Hi, I'm here with Dr. Scott Hopes, who is the Manatee County Administrator. How are you tonight?
Fantastic, Chrissy.
We have a great turnout tonight, and I'd just love to ask you, what do you think one of the most important things businesses bring to Manatee County, and how important are they?
Well, first and foremost, business is what's growing our community. It's driving our community, and it's creating a very prosperous area for people to move to raise their family, educate their children, and work and play and retire.
And what plans does the county have to further enrich businesses, maybe small owned businesses, or?
Small and large. We have economic development programs. We are investing over $300 million in our infrastructure, roads, parks, sidewalks. We're ready for anyone who's ready to move a business here, grow a business, expand a business, start a business.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. Are you looking forward to tonight's event?
I am. It's been a strenuous week, and I'm ready to relax a little bit and enjoy everyone's company.
Oh, well, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Hello, I'm here with Dr. Richard Conard of Manatee County. And how are you tonight?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
Thank you. I'm good. Good. So I've heard you have quite the reputation for doing a lot of business outreach and development here in the county for many years now. Could you?
Since 1967.
Really? Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I'm a practicing physician, but I've retired from that. Had a 5-man, very high-volume primary care practice, and then had gotten involved in kind of the administrative side of healthcare, and was the president that during the decade of the 1970s, we created a 184-acre medical campus known as the Blake Medical Campus on 59th Street West.
I'm very familiar with that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And also have been very involved community-wise with the Manatee Technical College. And way back in the late 60s, was on the committee and created the Emergency Medical Services program here in Manatee County. And we do that at the technical school. Have one of the finest technical schools, we think, nationally.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's really sensational. And as of like March of 2013, I think it was March, when we opened our new main campus, that constituted about $79 million that we have spent creating for our facilities, equipping them and all that in Manatee County with the technical college.
That's amazing. And I know this might be an obvious question, but why do you feel that is so important for the community?
Well, it's important for several reasons. One of them being that we've got a lot of students who can gain tremendous technical skills and work who really don't want or don't need or don't belong in college. So it really is an institution that helps us create a tremendous workforce program in the county. Yeah.
That's really inspiring. That's exciting. Yeah. Are you looking forward to tonight's event? We've got over 600 expected.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is our Chamber of Commerce is one of the true treasures of this community, and Jackie Delzelski and her people just do a marvelous job.
Yeah, I've heard the same.
Yeah, they've got over, 2,200 small businesses that are our members, over 70,000 of the workforce. And they represent them very, very well, whereas the large corporate entities can kind of represent themselves.
Yeah.
The small ones can coordinate around the chamber and gain a tremendous amount of impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Conrad.
Nice to see you.
Conard. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm here with Dr. Mackey and Dr. Mackey. How are we doing tonight?
Wonderful. Having a great time this evening.
Good. So your practice, I hear, has been with the Chamber for over, how long was it?
Over 40 years. We've been members for long before I started, and I've started 25 years ago, and we were a 20-year member before that.
Wow, that's awesome. And what changes have you seen over the years that you've really found to be interesting or good?
Well, you know what, I can tell you one thing hasn't changed. The Chamber has always been put businesses first. They've really done a great job with including businesses of all kinds and allowing everybody to network and come together as one. That's one thing that hasn't changed. Going back from Bob Bartz's day, he was wonderful, and Jackie Delzelski, the new president, has taken it and run from there. So it's really been great. So that, for one, hasn't changed, which I'm happy. As far as changing the growth, the county's grown incredibly, obviously. So they've had a lot of challenges with the growth out east and incorporating the new businesses out east with some of us older businesses in town, you know, and trying to mesh these people together. They've done a wonderful job with it, and I got to commend Jackie and obviously Bob in the past for what they've done. It's great.
That's awesome. And now that we're, the COVID restrictions are lifting, and this is one of the first, in-person events, what other things would you like to see from the Chamber coming up?
I have no complaints. I'm a Chamber fan. I think they're doing wonderful things. They are adaptable, and they've been adaptable, and I really have no complaints. The Chamber's a wonderful place, and they've been great for us for 40-plus years, or we wouldn't be so involved.
That's awesome.
The Chamber was great when it came to the COVID and keeping everybody informed of what's going on in the community and what we should be doing. And now that it's over, they're still keeping us informed about the changes are still happening, and some people don't really know what we're supposed to do. Should we wear a mask? Do we not need to wear a mask? Where do we get our vaccinations? And I think the Chamber's been really helpful with telling us where to go, what to do, giving us the information, the websites to go to. So what they're doing right now is just helping us get over it.
Yeah, through this transition. So tonight we should have like 600 or more attendees. Are you guys looking forward to this event?
We are. They do a great job with it. Yeah. Right here in beautiful Palmetto.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Dr. Mackey and Dr. Mackey.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Have a good night. Hello, I'm here with Mr. Daryl Turner. How are you tonight?
Doing very well. And you?
Good, thank you. So may I ask, how long have you been a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
Somewhere around 25 or 26 years.
Wow, that's quite a long time.
Absolutely. It's a great organization, and I love, everybody loves the members doing business with members. I think that's why we have such a great, energetic chamber everybody else is jealous of.
And how, over the 25 years, how have you seen the chamber change and grow?
Well, back 25 years ago, I was one of the younger members, and now it's good to see all the new younger people and members come on board and get involved with us. That was always been a thing that Bob Bartz wanted to do, was get everybody engaged.
That's awesome. And I know there's quite a few businesses engaged now, like
yes.
22,000 or something.
Something like that's a huge number.
Yeah. So tonight is one of the first events in quite some time after COVID, and we're expecting over 600. Are you looking forward to this?
Oh, absolutely. I think everybody's ready to get out and see some people we haven't seen in a year and a half.
Absolutely. And lastly, what would you like to see now that restrictions are lifting? What can the Chamber kind of do? What would you like to see in the near future?
Well, to me, I think all the trade shows and stuff they were doing, like up at Port Manatee and that kind of stuff, people are ready to start marketing their businesses. There's not many people that hadn't been affected in the past 18 months, and everybody needs a good recovery.
Totally agree with that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Turner.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hello, I'm here with Mr. Rick Yoakam, the Executive Director of the Humane Society here in Manatee County. How are you tonight, Mr. Yoakam?
Doing really well. Wet, but really well.
Yeah, it's pretty rainy outside.
A little bit.
So how has the Chamber of Commerce and local businesses in general, how have they supported or helped to support the Humane Society?
We are so blessed in Manatee County to have the support of the Chamber, and all of the Chamber members and the businesses have been remarkably supportive of our nonprofit. We couldn't do what we do without the support of the business community.
That's awesome. And you do so many wonderful things. Was it not too long ago you won an award through the Chamber? What was that?
Yeah, in 2018, we were the Small Business of the Year for the Manatee Chamber in the nonprofit category. Very proud.
That's really awesome. Are there any new developments with the Humane Society of Manatee County?
Well, we've been able to operate throughout the entire pandemic at a very high level. I have more staff now than when this whole thing started. That's a good thing. And we're now expanding our clinic services into dermatology and basic orthopedic surgery, low to moderate costs, so that everybody's animal can get the care they need.
That's so important. Wow. Thank you so much for what you do for our community.
Thank you for saying that. We appreciate it.
No, it's a big thing. So I hope you have a great time at the event tonight, Mr. Yoakam.
Already am. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I'm here with Police Chief Melanie Bevan of the City of Bradenton. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. It's a little rainy, but you know Florida, it's going to clear up in about 15 minutes.
We do have very fickle weather here.
We do, but it always, the sun always shines, right?
That's very true. Now, may I ask you, what kind of positive effects have you seen that the Chamber of Commerce and the local businesses have provided to maybe impacting safety or crime rates?
Well, I'm the police chief of the city of Bradenton, and as you know, the state of Florida, FDLE, just released the crime rates for the state for last year, and Bradenton was down nearly 12%. Now, I don't try to claim that, because if I claim the all-time low, then I have to claim any highs that come up, but I will tell you, we partner so well with our business community. We're out there, my officers are on foot with our community, and I think we're doing a fantastic job. Bradenton, they call us a friendly city, and there's a reason for that. We all get along, and when we get along, we can work together better, and I think we're doing a fantastic job of really building this city into a worldwide destination.
It seems like the Chamber, is really organizations like this and the resources they offer are helping the businesses and, the community to come together. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. And, the police department is right across the street from the Chamber, and I think that's by design, right? Because we're continuously bridging that relationship. We talk constantly, and I will tell you, the relationship we have with our business owners, with the Chamber, that's what makes our city stronger.
I totally agree. Thank you so much for all that you do. Are you looking forward to tonight's event? We've got over 600 attendees, so it's going to be pretty big.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the silent auctions. I'm not looking forward to the money I'm probably going to spend, but I loved supporting worthwhile causes, and that's the plan tonight. And I think everybody's just excited to get out and be out. I think we're going to have a full house, and it's going to be a great night.
I totally agree. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night. Hello, I'm here with County Commissioner George Cruz. How are you tonight?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How do you feel that the county is helping to bridge businesses together and to contribute to business development here in Manatee County?
Sure. Well, Manatee County is putting a big effort into improving our business community, expanding our business community, and diversifying our business community. And that starts and ends with Manatee County Chamber. It's one of, if not the best chambers in the entire state, if not the country. And they're instrumental in everything we're trying to do as a county. We're trying to diversify our employment base. We're trying to increase our wage growth. And we couldn't do it without Jackie and the rest of our team at the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I've heard great things about this chamber. It's wonderful, the reputation they have. Have you seen a lot of growth lately or projected growth?
Sure. Well, Manatee County is projected to grow and has been growing about 10,000 people per year. So it's a very large growth for what's otherwise a reasonably small to mid-sized county. We're about 410,000 people right now. But we need to employ all of those people because we don't want to continue a trend of just being empty nesters and snowbirds. We want to have a vibrant, thriving community. We've got a lot of great assets like Port Manatee and some of our more dynamic businesses that we really want to help prosper and grow with the Chamber.
That's exciting. So being one of the first events post-COVID, we're going to have 600 attendees tonight. Are you looking forward to that?
I am. I love getting back out. I actually was running for my office last year during COVID, so that was a bit of a challenge without being able to get out and see everybody, which is kind of what I've done my entire life on the business side. So, the opportunity now to start having organizations like the Chamber open back up, allow everyone, you see everyone here meeting with their friends and their colleagues and their former coworkers. It's great. That's what Manatee County is all about. That's what makes Manatee County so great, is this community, and to have everyone back together is just amazing.
It really is. Well, thank you so much, Commissioner. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great time tonight.
Thank you. I'm sure I will.
Hello, I'm here with County Commissioner Misty Servia. How are you tonight?
I'm great, Christy. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's exciting to see everyone back together.
It is. I mean, we have been sequestered, 18 months, and look at how happy everyone is.
I know. It's great to connect. So as County Commissioner, and I know you work a lot with business development and plans for the future and expansion, have you got any great plans coming up? Have you seen some growth lately?
Well, I represent a district that's in the urban core, District 4, and we have so much business and industry that is relocating to Manatee County in my district. We recently had Amazon come in, so I'm really excited about the jobs and the opportunities and everything that's being created by all of these new companies.
That is really exciting. And how do you feel the Chamber plays a part in maybe bringing businesses together, helping them to grow here in Manatee County?
The Chamber connects our businesses to the community, and together it just works as this machine. Everyone is so pleased with our Chamber. They help to create our identity and who we are in Manatee County. And then we can attract these businesses, some fantastic ones. Air Products, we always talk about Air Products. Such a great company, Amazon, and so many others. And they come here because of the lifestyle that we create.
That's so important. So now that we're post-COVID, restrictions are lifting quite a bit, and tonight being one of the first events, and we've got 600 attendees. Are you excited to connect with people in the flesh again?
So excited. I have already seen so many people that I haven't seen in over a year, and so I really miss them. But Manatee County is a great place to do business, and the reason that it is because we have all these things to offer. We have parks, we have great lifestyle, we have great networking, and small businesses that help us to create the sustainable community that we are.
I love it. Thank you so much for everything that you do for our community. I hope you have a great night tonight.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello, I'm here with Sharon Hilstrom of the EDC. How are you tonight, Sharon?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
How long have you been with the EDC?
Oh my gosh, I've been at the EDC for 11 years.
Wow, and you do so much for the community, and you work hand in hand with the Chamber. How do you guys connect to bring business growth and development to the area?
So we like to say that the Chamber creates the product. So the Chamber works on issues that are really important in our community, and then we take that product and market it. So we market it to bring other businesses to Manatee County to keep our economy healthy and improve our quality of life here.
That's so important. That really is. How long have you been a member of the Chamber?
So the EDC has been a member of the Chamber for years and years. We actually used to be a division of the Chamber, but at one point we did separate, but we're still great partners.
Awesome. And what do you have any future, have you seen some growth, or do you have any future projections for what may be happening here in Manatee County?
Well, I can say that we are receiving just incredible amounts of inquiries from businesses from other states that are looking to move here, largely due to, in Florida, you know, we have a great tax climate, so that's very attractive, especially for companies that are in the Northeast, and so we're seeing a lot of activity there, and, you know, once they get here, they think, why didn't I come earlier? Because it's such a great place as a business destination and also just as a great place to live.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. So do you think now that COVID restrictions are lifting, you know, there will be a lot more room for businesses to connect and to develop?
Oh my gosh, I think everyone is just getting ready to get out and be with people. I think everyone's done with the virtual, even though thank goodness we had it because it allowed us all to continue doing the business that we did. Yeah. But look at here. I mean, you've got over 600 people here tonight because everybody's just wanting that personal connection, one-to-one without a screen and that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, we're ready. Everyone's ready.
I think so too. It makes all the difference. So. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a great night tonight. We look forward to everything that you're going to do.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, I'm here with Mr. Carlos Buqueros he is the executive director with Port Manatee. How are you tonight?
Great, thank you. It's great being here and to see such a large turnout for the Chamber.
And how long have you been with the Manatee County Port Authority?
Almost 10 years. I'm almost 10. So it's been a really great experience and really a pleasure to work and to develop the port for the community and to be able to expand the businesses in the county and even reaching to Southwest Florida as a result of the jobs that the port creates.
How many jobs, like ballpark, has it created lately?
Nationwide, about 27,000.
Wow.
But about 1,500 people come to work at the port every day.
That's really amazing. And so the Chamber of Commerce, you know, being here tonight for their annual dinner, how do you connect with them through the Port of Authority and the Chamber to support businesses?
Right. Well, they are an extension of the port. Okay. They are an extension of the community. You know, a most award-winning chamber in the country. When I bring in people from overseas, the first thing I brag about is the Chamber. You know, first this, first that. They love it. They can't believe that the Manatee Chamber is so good and has won so many awards. So it's really a great tool to have when you bring someone from overseas or other parts of the country and they have no idea that Manatee Chamber is so large and so good.
Yeah, it's really impressive, the accolades that they've, you know, been titled with. So tonight, being one of the first events where we can really all gather together, does it feel good to be networking and connecting with people in the community?
Yes, it's great. I think, you know, the ability now to connect more easily with less concern by everybody, it's really, you know, fantastic. And getting back to normal so quickly when other countries we deal with are still in big trouble, it's really a reflection of how good, you know, we are doing this.
I agree with you. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.